everybody, Miss Judy here for Art Outside the Box, and tonight we're going to have a little bit of an extravaganza. I like to do Easter eggs just for the fun of it, and it kind of brings back memories of being a kid. So I've got some kind of kid Easter eggs here and some adult ones, and I'll show you how we do it. First of all, we're going to make these eggs. They look like robin's eggs to me, so that's a fun sign of spring, and they're super easy. And then I've also got another idea, and these are emoji eggs, and so of course the faces, expressions you can use are endless. And then the other one that inspired me is this little guy, a minion. Who doesn't like a minion? So these are super easy. I'll show you how we do it. You're just gonna need a few materials, and we're gonna do one at a time here. So we're gonna start with these, and these will take a little bit of prep work. I'm pretty sure most of you have dyed Easter eggs before. So something I did here is I actually blew these eggs out. We had this awesome little tool that I used to do that. It took a little time, but it worked nicely. And the good thing is you can keep these for a long time on your table without having kind of a bad smell in your house. So I'm gonna do a couple of these, and I've got a bowl of warm water here, to which I've added about 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. And then I've got my blue food coloring, and I'm gonna put quite a bit in here because I wanna have a nice dark color. So I don't know, probably about 20 drops. And then we're going to give that a little stir. And that's a really nice shade of dark blue. And I will drop these eggs in. Now those are gonna take a little bit of time. So let's let those sit for a second, and we'll start with our other eggs, and we'll completely finish those while these are dying. So the eggs that I'm going to use for the minion and the emoji face, I'm just using some acrylic paint, and I am painting them yellow. And this won't take too long to dry. So I've already got one done over here, and I'll finish this one up. It's a little slippery. It's a good thing if you're doing this to work on some plastic, because you're using some dye and paint that doesn't come off real easily, and you don't want to get in trouble, so try and keep it as neat as you can. All right, that's one coat on there. I've got one coat on my other one, and we'll have these done in a jiffy. Set those aside to dry. Let's check this one, touch up a couple places. And we'll put that aside to dry. All right, so I've got 2 of my eggs all painted yellow, and these are just about dry. And I've got another one I'm gonna use for the minion, and I painted the top half yellow, and I'm gonna go ahead and finish off the bottom with this kind of teal green. And if you don't get your line perfectly straight, that's okay, because we're gonna use a marker here to define that. So I'm going to mention that when you're working with the eggs, if you do hard boil them and you plan on eating them, don't do this technique with the paint. We're also going to use Sharpie marker on these, and that is a little bit toxic, so that can seep through into the eggs, so you don't want to be putting that in your body. But the ones that you dye with the regular Easter egg dye or the food coloring, if those are hard boiled, those are just fine to eat. And if you do want to keep your eggs, you would empty the yolk out of them, and you can do that one of 2 ways. You can take a needle, a very sharp needle, and punch a hole in the top and a bigger one in the bottom, and blow until all of that yolk comes out. That is a little tricky. Or we purchased a little instrument from Amazon that is really awesome. Out of a dozen eggs, I only broke 3. and that was just kind of getting used to it, but that worked very, very well, and it was kind of fun to do. And we can keep these eggs forever if we want to. All right, so those are all set. Let's go ahead and get started, and why don't we do a funny face? So for that, I have a couple of Sharpies. I've got a red one here, I've got a black one, and you could either use white paint, or I've got some white out, and it's got a little tiny brush, so I found that that works pretty good. And you can Google funny face eggs online if you want to. It'll give you tons of ideas, or Google emojis, and you'll come up with a ton of those too. So I'm just gonna do the simple one, but I would put the big side of your egg on the bottom. Still got a couple little wet spots on my egg. And I'm just gonna make some eyes. You can use your imagination on this. Kind of hard for me to do this and show you. If you want to, you can pencil these in first of all too, before you use the permanent marker. And we'll give them a little nose. You can see this is not quite dry. I would probably wait a few more minutes on this. We'll give them a big smile. All right, we'll finish off the mouth here. It's a little hard to do. I probably would work better like this, so I'm gonna hold this down while I finish this. It's a little steadier. And we'll give him a great big mouth. It's gonna have a big smiley face. If your marker gets a little clogged up from the paint, just kind of clean it off. There we go. This is a little bit wet, so you would really want to dry this thoroughly. Okay, I'm gonna do his tongue right here with my red marker. And we'll do his teeth with the white out, or like I said, you can use white paint and a little tiny brush, but this actually works pretty well. Gotta have a kind of steady hand. So I found out all kinds of things you can do to dye eggs. One of the ones I'm really interested in trying is using natural ingredients. You can use onion skins, red cabbage, turmeric, which is a spice, several other things if you look online. But what you have to do with those is pretty much soak them overnight. You would boil your water, put in your ingredients, and then put your eggs in and let them soak for a good 24 hours. But the colors are beautiful the way they come out. So, all right, we're gonna call this little guy done and set him aside. And let's move on to this one. And this is going to be the Minions. So he's pretty simple to make too. You've already got him painted. I've got a couple Google eyes, which I love Google eyes, and I've got some tacky glue, or you could probably use a glue stick, but this will hold up better. And I'm just gonna put a little drop on there, doesn't take much. Pick that up and place it up here near the top. Minions have eyes that are very close together, so put this one right here. These might move around a little bit. They take a little time to dry up. But other than that, all you need are to draw him some glasses and a mouth, and you are set to go. So there's his mouth. There's his glasses, and he is all set. I think it'd be fun to make a bunch of these with different expressions and put them in a bowl. All right, one last step to go. I've got these out of my die. These are the hard-boiled eggs, and they turned out a really, really nice shade of blue. So I'm happy about that. Now we're gonna make them look like a robin's egg. This one's still kind of swirling around in there. So this is a little bit messy. I'm going to strongly suggest you work on a large piece of plastic, and I'm gonna even put this on. It's like a bib because I don't want to get it on my clothes, and I've got some rubber gloves. So I'm gonna use these because you're gonna get your hands all messy in here. I did this outside earlier today, and that seemed to be the way to go, but we will see how we do. So I've got a little bit of gold metallic paint and a little bit of dark brown and an old toothbrush. And I'm just gonna swirl this around like so, get it pretty well coated. And then I'm going to kind of flick the paint right onto my eggs. And you need a fair amount on here. I might not even have enough. So it just kind of splatters them. I can feel it on my arms. Whoops. It's a little bit tricky. They're laughing at me over there in the corner. That's okay. Miss Perry just wants to make sure that I don't get paint all over the carpet, so. All right, a little bit more. Here we go. Okay, I'm starting to get some speckles and a couple of blobs, but that's okay. But just keep going. They're little tiny minute, so it's gonna take a while for you to be able to see them. And then let that dry, and you will have some pretty cool looking robin's eggs. What I ended up with, I've got all these fun little guys. Aren't they cute? Got my robin's eggs that I can put in a nice little bowl with some Easter grass. Make that a centerpiece for your table. And there are so many other ideas out there. So take an afternoon, boil some eggs, and have a good time. Thanks for being with me, everyone. I had a really fun time with this project, and I hope you can experiment with this too and make some little friends of your own. So have a great evening. I'll see you soon. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. We're all about that right now. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.